In fact, Ohio weather is incredibly violent, punishing roofs with brutal winter blizzards that rapidly melt into blistering summer heat. To protect your home from these wild temperature swings, you are usually looking at two main contenders: asphalt shingles and metal roofing. Roofing companies often push one material as objectively superior to the other, but in the real world, neither material is perfect in a vacuum. Choosing between asphalt and metal is actually a calculation of your capital allocation and your specific ownership horizon, rather than just picking the physically tougher material. Asphalt shingles offer a lower barrier to entry. They give you that familiar neighborhood curb appeal, and practically any contractor can source and install them quickly. Metal roofing demands a massive upfront premium, typically costing 1.5 to 3 times as much as a standard asphalt installation. This table breaks down the reality. The metal premium pays for a 40 to 70-year lifespan, compared to asphalt's 15 to 30. But metal requires specialized labor. Fixing a damaged panel is complex. Conversely, asphalt allows for fast, isolated repairs without removing large roof sections. Spending double on a metal roof is only a true financial savings if you actually live in the house long enough to avoid a second roof replacement. Otherwise, you are just prepaying for a roof the next owner gets to enjoy. Ohio's constant freeze-thaw cycles hunt for and expand microscopic defects in your roof's sealants and edges. Water gets in, freezes, expands, and widens the gap. Asphalt is especially vulnerable to this over time. Ultraviolet rays and thermal cycling bake the oils out of the material, causing granule loss and leaving the tabs brittle and prone to windlift. This cross-section schematic shows how correctly engineered standing seam metal systems solve that problem. Concealed fasteners allow a metal to slide, expand, and contract safely, unlike the rigid asphalt shingle cracking under expanding ice on the right. However, metal introduces a complex issue with hail, the difference between cosmetic and functional damage. Severe hail rarely cracks or leaks through metal roofs, but it can leave highly visible dents. Because the roof remains functionally watertight, insurance policies often refuse to cover the replacement cost of those panels. While metal objectively survives Ohio's structural weather threats longer, the idea that it is aesthetically invincible is a costly myth. There is an assumption that simply installing a metal roof automatically makes your home highly energy efficient. That is not entirely true. Cool roof metal coatings do utilize solar reflectance, which dramatically reduces summer heat gain by bouncing sunlight away from your attic. But that summer benefit carries a winter penalty. Highly reflective roofs can increase your heating demand during dark, cold Ohio winters because they prevent the sun from warming the house. This split-screen diagram of a home in winter shows what actually matters. Heat escapes through a poorly insulated attic floor, regardless of the roof material above it. Deep floor insulation, air sealing, and balanced ventilation trap the heat inside the living space and dictate year-round thermal performance far more than the top layer of roofing. Spending a massive premium on reflective metal roofing is wasted capital if your home's underlying attic insulation is severely lacking. Looking at the financial math of asphalt, it keeps initial labor low even on complex roofs, but it locks you into guaranteed future replacement costs. Let's set up a hypothetical baseline scenario for a standard Ohio home. You are comparing a $15,000 architectural asphalt estimate versus a $27,000 standing seam metal estimate. This line graph maps out the cumulative costs over a 50-year timeline. By choosing asphalt on day 1, you keep an immediate $12,000 of cash in your pocket. Fast forward to year 22, and the asphalt line violently spikes upward. You now have to pay for tear-off, disposal, inflation, and a brand new roof, crossing high above the total cost of metal. The metal line remains perfectly steady through year 45 and beyond, ultimately yielding a vastly lower annualized cost. Buying a metal roof is a long-term capital investment, trapping your cash for 2 decades before the avoided replacement costs finally yield a return. Moving from raw math to actionable decisions, the correct choice depends entirely on matching the material to your personal life timeline. Take the pragmatic owner. These are homeowners planning to move in the next 5 to 15 years, operating on a strict budget, or living under rigid HOA aesthetic rules. This decision tree maps out the choice. If your horizon is under 15 years, or you are budget constrained, choose architectural asphalt. This retains your immediate financial flexibility and prevents you from overcapitalizing on the property. Now consider the optimizer owner. You are living in your forever home for 20+ years, maybe planning future solar installations, and you prioritize long-term durability over initial expense. For 20+ years or planning solar, choose standing seam metal. Aligning your roof material with your actual living horizon is the only reliable way to ensure you don't overpay today or underprotect your home tomorrow. We need to address one final reality check. The grade of the material is completely irrelevant if the underlying installation is flawed. An expensive metal roof installed by amateurs with weak edge details will fail much faster than cheap asphalt. Because product grade and ventilation matter so much, you need an exact, customized evaluation of your home's geometry and attic conditions. Contact MasterRoof Kettering today for a comprehensive roof evaluation and a transparent installation estimate. Click the link in the description to get started.